In this video, I'll talk about why I DNF'd the last published book in the Song of Ice and Fire series, A Dance with Dragons, and the last published book in the Kingkiller Chronicles, A Wise Man's Fear. I know some people don't want to read books if they know the series isn't going to be finished, but I don't care about that as much because I like being caught up so I can be part of the conversation. These two books, however, I just couldn't get through them. Let's talk about A Dance with Dragons first. I once met author V.E. Schwab on tour, and she said people read the first book in a series for the plot and the sequels for the characters. At least for me, that's partly true. I like to read sequels because I want to know what happens to the characters I care about. An issue I had with The Song of Ice and Fire from the beginning was that he kept focusing on characters I didn't care about and didn't give enough screen time to the characters I really wanted to hear about. This has been an issue for me from book 1, but by book 4 I was really struggling. A Feast for Crows has 10 chapters for Cersei Lannister. I don't like her. 8 chapters for Brienne. She's a newer character, I don't care about her yet. 7 chapters for Jaime Lannister. I don't like him either. Only 3 chapters for Arya Stark, are you kidding me? It was a struggle for me to get through that book, and when I saw that A Dance with Dragons was starting to do the same thing, I just gave up. It just doesn't make sense to me to read a 1,000-page book for 2 or 3 chapters about characters I actually want to hear about. A Wise Man's Fear has a very different problem. That book reads like every scene has been polished to perfection, while the author has never learned how to write an overarching plot. For example, there's this one chapter where Fela creates a ring out of a stone using the name of Stone. The chapter ends and that's it. But how does Kvothe feel about her doing this? I need an emotional journey in order to care about the story. A Wise Man's Fear feels like a list of events. This happened, then that happened. In order for me to be interested, I need to know either what the main character's goals are or some kind of emotional journey they're going through. This book reads like my own writing from a while back, when I really wanted to make a story work, so I took the scene and polished and polished and polished them, but until I fixed the bigger problems with the plot, I just wasn't able to get it interesting enough, and to a point where I was even happy with it. If I had to guess, this is what's happening with book 3. I hear a lot of people debate, do these authors owe us the end of their series? Guys, I don't think this question is relevant. If I promised you that I would fly in the air and then I didn't deliver, I don't think we'd have a discussion about whether or not I owe you me flying, because I just can't do it. So we can have a discussion of whether or not I was an idiot promising something like that. But saying whether or not I owe it to you isn't really relevant, because whether or not I should give it to you, I just cannot. I think it's the same for these authors. George Martin and Pat Rothfuss want to finish their series, and they are trying, I assume, but it's too hard. I think many readers don't realize that writing the ending of a series is like 10 times harder than writing the beginning of a series. Some people say these authors are making us wait more than 10 years for the next book in the series. Why can't they just be like Brandon Sanderson? Guys, they are like Brandon Sanderson. Have you not heard of The Arithmetist? That is another book I DNF'd. In conclusion, I felt like both A Dance with Dragons and A Wise Man's Fear show signs of the story trajectory getting away from the author. And this is why I was unable to finish those 2 books. How did you feel about these books? If you like this video, please check out my other channel where I tell my own fantasy stories. I'll leave a link in the description.